Hey everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and welcome back to 12 Days of Past, Present, and Future. We are on with day number 2, and the prompt for today, or the trend for today, is to do layering. Now, I am going to be doing a bit of a scrap lift of Sarah's scraps as well. This is one of the challenges over on the Rediscover Your Stash. They're doing the spinning freeze over there right now for the month of June, and the very first challenge was to find a layout from Sarah and use it to scrap lift. I start with great intentions of scrap lifting. It turns into a completely different thing of its own, but it started with it. So I wanted to show you that was the layout right there that I was originally planning on scrap lifting from her. And like I said, then it just kind of takes off. I'm kind of doing the reverse idea though. So instead of cutting it out of the big strip paper, I just cut a straight line, and now I'm adding in the other pieces of that I cut off. I liked that idea. That was what inspired me from her original layout, was this really cool idea of scattering the element. So in my case, it's the leaves, and it's really pretty. It's a neat idea. It's so funny when you do stuff and you're like, why have I never thought of this before? So I probably will do it again soon because I really love the way that it turned out. And yeah, that's the basis of where this all started with. I originally wasn't intending this to be my layering video for today, but as it went about, it just kept getting a little bit more and more to it. And I wanted to be able to show you that you can layer in the traditional sense, and then you can also layer in a non-traditional sense. And I'm going to go through both of those with you. So the first thing here is that I'm switching out my pattern paper for this piece of Chamel, and I used it because it's got a grid look to it, and it's better than a piece of white cardstock. So there's a layer, I'm doing air quotes there, already onto the pattern paper. And then for the paper, just the background itself, before you get a photo, before you do anything else like that, I'm also adding different stripes, which can also be considered layers, of course, right, to the side of my photo. And I did that using a border strip from a Dear Lizzie piece. I'm going to pick my photo here and rotate everything around because of the orientation of the photo and where I want them to look off the page. And this is from Sean's birthday this year. He turned 35, so it was kind of a bigger birthday. We were excited to celebrate it with him. And he let Jackson help him blow out the candles. And I just really love the way this photo turned out. And in black and white and on this paper, it really just kind of stood out perfectly. And then, of course, the collection I'm using this month for my How to Kill a Kit with Style, which is from Altenew, and it is a birthday themed type, or celebratory themed. And so I went through all the stuff to see what I could come up with, and there is one little tab thing that says tasty stuff, and that was a pretty darn good cake, so I felt like that worked well. I was thinking about using this Hooray. I liked how it kind of fit over the photo in all the right places. However, that tealy color isn't really being represented in this layout, so I'm going to take that away in the end. I do try to place it a couple times, but it goes away. So there's the first part. My second part here is the actual layering of the photo. Now, this is normally where I do most of my layering, and I think most people do. I like to do layering in a few different ways. The first one is to do some sort of a mat around my photo. Really thin normally. I don't even normally use my trimmer for it. I like to freehand my layers like this. That way I can kind of play around and put things on angles, all sorts of stuff like that. I like the way that when you lay that then down onto your layout, you can see all these really cool elements and angles, and you see pops of the different colors coming around. I really enjoy that. Personally, for me, that is the best way to layer. I like the bits of added interest it adds. Now, if you are like type A, bold, underlined, kind of like a Susanna Lee type person, you may not like that type of style because that's messy and crazy and not for you. So do not worry. All you'd have to do is straighten them up and just do a border. You don't have to do it in a messy way at all. You can always do layers in nice, neat ways too, and it still looks great. The only thing with twisting it is that you can almost get away with less layers because there's all these different angles. So that's kind of why I do it. It preserves my paper. So I'm going to add one more little strip to here. I liked this beautiful other piece of pattern paper from the collection that I'm using, and I'm going to use that as well with the Dear Lizzie paper border strip, and then of course my main pattern paper that was the inspiration for the whole layout. So right there I have 3 layers onto my background paper as well. So layers in different areas, and that was the whole point of why this layout kind of turned into a thing of its own. And now I'm going to do this. I love this. So I fussy cut out a few more of the leaves, and I'm placing them in a kind of diagonal line so that it goes up to the photo. And I'm going to put my title right there underneath that. And it's super simple title. I'm just calling it 35 today because that's what it is. And I do a birthday layout for him every year, so it doesn't have to be anything like crazy fantastic title. This one, however, works really well. And last year's title, I just scrapped that one, was a kind of more longer title, and so he doesn't need a really crazy one for this year, I felt. So I'm going to add a couple more florals. These are not florals, Chrissy. These are leaves. And I'm going to tuck them into the photo. And this again brings more dimension and added interest and layers to my photo. So you can see that with just, what was that? I think I used 3 pieces of pattern paper and 5 leaves. And that is a lot of layers and a lot of interest. Your eye goes straight to the photo and then around the rest of the layout. Now I am adding a couple more photos here, as you can see. I had these to the side to use in like a Project Life type thing, and I decided I wanted to get them on here because they were all part of his birthday, and I might as well document it all in one spot. And then to finish it all off, I'm adding this last and final layer to my photo here, and this is something I love to do, and it brings such a fun texture, and especially this one because it was scalloped, which was just a tiny bit of tissue paper. Now I normally do the tissue paper as the very first layer on the photo, but I changed it up today. I liked it at the bottom and being kind of like a nice little banner, which you will see in the end when you see my final layout. I added a cake stand to the photo, so it's like this photo is sitting on a cake stand. It's pretty cute. I really love the way it turned out. And then as I was going about it, I decided this layout needed some sequins, and so this is also going to be represented for one of my guest design layouts for Spiegel Mom Scraps for this month, and I am using I think it's called Hippity Hoppity sequins mix. It does have little pink bunnies in it, but I just obviously didn't pick those. I used the blue and the greens, and there's this little white floral which is dimensional. It's really cool, and I used that as well to just add all these sequins around. That was kind of a throwback as well to Sarah's original layout that I had attempted to scrap lift. So a bunch of different things all at once, and I love the way this turned out. Definitely represented the evening we had with Sean for his birthday. He worked the whole day, so he came home and we had oh no, it was on a Saturday. We had coffee in the morning and cake in the evening, and just kind of a nice family day, which is what he wanted. So it was a perfect day for him. The kids got to eat cake, so they were perfectly happy, and we got a family photo. So here's a look at my finished layout. Make sure you check out Daisy, and we will see you next week with day 3. Bye.